Joy Villa is a recording artist who hit #1 on the Billboard and Amazon music charts with her album "I Make the Static" and her single "Make America Great Again." Joy has a new podcast, The Joy Villa Show, which you can find on all podcasting platforms as well as youtube.com/MissJoyVilla. She also has the upcoming Meet Joy Villa speaking tour, and we talked more about that in our interview. Joy Villa, I'm so happy to finally meet you. It's really nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So you are going on a speaking tour. This is not you're not going to be singing. You're just going to be talking.
That's
what
right.
are you going to be talking about?
Well, answering questions that everyone's been asking me for the last 2 years. You know, what made me conservative? Why do I support Trump? You know, what is it about me like that would wear a dress at the Grammys? How do I go from my past voting for Obama to being a hardcore Trump supporter, and how to make it in the music industry, being very different, being very bold.
Yeah, well, those are excellent questions. Some of which I'm about to ask you because I want to know them. But I have to ask you this: are you planning on running for something? Is that why you're doing this?
Not this time.
Okay.
Not this time. I toyed with it. You know, definitely got a lot of attention for it, which is amazing. The president tweeted his support, endorsed me before I even decided to run. I was like, no pressure. Thank you, Mr. President. But it's something that I think that in the end of my life, I don't want to be like the end of my life, but you know, as I get a little older, that it'll be something I'll actually do. Right now, I want to focus on just meeting the fans, getting the word out, positivity and support for the president in 2020, and then also my music career. I've got a lot of music stuff coming out.
Okay, all right. Now, it's interesting because when you wore that dress, great dress.
Thank you.
it actually helped you on the charts.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a really good thing for you.
Yeah.
Was it also a bad thing for you?
Well, I never would have predicted that something good would have happened. I mean, of course, I wore it. I didn't really think about it. I was like, I'm going to do this because I support the president. And, you know, I'm very much like a loyalist. Like, I'll spend time looking. And I looked at President Trump and I go, oh, I don't know. Is he what he says he is? And then I was like, okay, this is the man. And I voted for him. And then I became a big fan.
Right.
But it was very secret. I couldn't talk to any of my liberal friends about this, or anybody, not even my conservative friends, because a lot of them didn't like Trump too. So that was my sort of coming out, and that's all I thought of. I didn't think of the long term, but afterwards hitting #1 on iTunes, #1 on, you know, Billboard and all of the Amazon was something that was such an unexpected blessing, because really after I did that, I got a lot of hate. I got death threats.
Yeah. Did you get death threats?
Really? I got so many death threats. I still get death threats.
Yeah.
Anytime I come out, you know, for being pro-life, I get death threats.
Yeah.
I get rape threats for being pro-life.
Do you really? I mean,
I do. I mean, it's insane out there.
It is so sick.
These people are not people I'm afraid of. At first, it's very overwhelming to get hundreds of letters of, you know, evil intentions and like, oh, you should die, and why are you even at the Grammys, and blah, blah, blah. And racial slurs from other Black people, other Hispanics telling me I'm a race traitor and this and that, and all that stuff that I've never gotten before. But in the big picture, it's really a small amount compared to the love.
Okay.
Even though I fell from grace on some things, I fell into the arms of millions of fans who support me.
What about in the business? Now, are you still on an indie label? You were like,
I'm still independent. That's right.
So yeah. So, but did it hurt you in the business? I mean, does your agent suddenly find? I mean, my agent does. I get a lot of this stuff. You know, does your agent call up and say, "Oh no, we will not touch her"?
Well, I was with a publicist at the time, and he ended up dropping me.
Really?
Yes.
Because of this?
Not because I'm a Trump supporter, but because of the hate mail, because of the attacks, because it became harder for him to be the publicist of me. And so I ended up picking up another publicist, and they just recently dropped me just because they picked up a new client that was very anti my political beliefs, and they let me know that. Which I think is wrong. I think that if you're going to represent someone who cares about their political ideologies, they're not hurting someone, let them be them. I mean, there's conservative pundits who need publicists and, you know, agents. So I've had a little bit of that, but I just go, you know, it's fine. I have long-term staff who love me, who know all about my political beliefs, and they've stuck with me for years. So I'm fine. You know, I mean, it's the Hollywood game. You pick up a few staff. You know how it is, the publicist of this or that. But recently, Andrew, I just heard that I lost a movie role because the director loved me, wanted me for this film, because I also do some acting. And Ended up going, oh, wait a second, she's the girl with the dress. I cannot hire her.
Wow.
And he said,
wow,
because I'm a socialist.
Well, so at least we won't have to pay for his movie. He'll just give us his movie for free.
Yeah, so he goes, on my own ideology, I cannot hire her because I'm a socialist.
Wow.
And the producer of the film is a good friend of mine, so she told me that. And this was a couple months ago, so I didn't know. You know, you never know why you don't get certain roles.
That's true, but at least you found out. So you start out, you're a singer. That's what you want to do. And I know if you're an artist, all you want to do is you want to make stuff. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But you, like everybody, you have political beliefs. So you start out singing, right? And you're not, are you voting for Obama at that point? Are you an Obama voter when you start out?
Well, I started out in 2011. Okay. So I had voted for Obama before that.
All right.
I was in high school. I graduated high school. Actually, I graduated high school 2 years earlier. So I was 18 years old when Obama was running. That was his first term. And that was my first presidential voting that I could, vote for a president. So I voted for Obama, thinking I was doing the right thing. He's black, he's charming. I'm like, of course.
He's running against John McCain.
He's running, John McCain is old and soggy. I didn't like him back then. My dad loved John McCain.
Okay.
I said, he's like 90 years old. This guy, he's not hip. He's not, he doesn't know what's happening, you know. And as we see, he really doesn't know what's happening. I was right. I was right to hate
No,
John
he was a
McCain.
terrible candidate.
Oh, horrible. And so I voted for him. And then, of course, after that, I wasn't really political. I was an artist.
Right.
And I didn't particularly like Obama. You know, after he ran, I just noticed that the economy went down. Suddenly there were more people on welfare. You know, there was more disgruntlement. There was worse race relations. Even though he's a mixed race, he's black and white. He never said that. He was raised in Indonesia, too. He could have united America.
He could have,
But instead, you know, he chose to take the side of Black Lives Matter and divide the nation and go against police officers and against, and he said the American flag, I'll never forget, he said the American dream is now achieved because we're just getting by. And I thought, that's not the American dream. The American dream is to be a billionaire and to help people. And we're the most charitable organization, charitable country in the world. We give more to charity than any other country. And so we want to be rich, but we want to help others. We want to succeed. We want to flourish. We want to have family. That's the American dream.
Right.
Not just to get by.
So you're in the music business. You're surrounded by people in the music business, I assume, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking with your own eyes and you're seeing that the Obama administration failed. I mean, it wasn't a good administration.
Yes.
Do you ever turn to the singer next to you and say that? I mean, is that a conversation you're having?
You know, during that time, I wasn't outspoken politically.
Okay.
I was pro-life, but I also kept that to myself. You know, I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about religion or politics because it was such a liberal climate.
Yeah, sure.
And being young in my early 20s, then I'll go, okay, well, everybody's liberal.
Right.
So I sort of took on that liberal jacket, so to speak, you know. And I called myself an SJW back then.
Really?
Social justice warrior.
Yeah.
I would retweet those tweets, you know, like, oh my gosh, we need to help this and we need to do that. Of course, because that's what all your friends are talking about.
Right.
And you're looking up to musicians and actors like, I want to be like them. Madonna, I used to love her. Not so much anymore, but you're just going, oh, I want to be like these superstars.
Sure,
so I have to think like them. Or it was gradual, but I just started noticing suddenly I wasn't so open about my conservative upbringing. And it really took Trump to sort of reset me. Then I go, oh, wait a second. I was a registered independent. So I said, well, am I a Democrat? I mean, am I a Democrat really? Not really. Am I a Republican? So it sort of was like this slow, researching the Republican Party, going, well, I always loved Reagan. My parents were Republicans, but does that make me a Republican? And I call myself a reborn Republican. And now I say, yeah, I'm conservative. Yeah, I'm Republican. Doesn't mean I'm going to just vote straight party ticket without doing research.
Right.
But now I see that the Republican Party actually wants the same things that I want. Traditionalism, more families, less government control. I want to abolish the IRS. I mean, come on, less taxes on hard workers, but don't reward the most undeserving of our society. Let's reward families and people who are keeping society going.
Now, but you put out a music video for "Make America Great Again,"
yes.
which I thought was a good song, by the way.
Thank you.
And the message of it is very multicultural, very, you know, there are all kinds of people that you want to include and make America great again.
Yes.
The press line is that Donald Trump is this racist, sexist, evildoer who just, we just had played a tape of a New York Times editorialist saying he wants to round people up and shoot them. Do you feel, I know, it's like,
good luck.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you feel that Trump is in fact helping multiculturalism in the sense of all of us being different?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, every conservative or Trump supporter that I know is different from a different background, religious, you know, racial, you know, cultural. There's no one certain Trump supporter, because I know tons of them, millions of them, connected by the internet. And my friends personally who've revealed to me, hey, I actually like that dress because I voted for Trump. And I go, you voted for Trump?
Yeah.
You know, people in the industry who can't say that publicly because they would lose jobs.
Yep.
Those people are Trump supporters. Many of them are Black, Hispanic, Asian, young, old. His ideas are timeless.
Yep.
You know, what he wants for America to build us back to the greatness that we can be, that's timeless. That's not one culture. That's not one color. And he doesn't say, oh, Black Americans can succeed, even though they are. We have 39% approval for Trump now in Black America. Amazing, right? And it's higher than Hillary's ever was.
Yeah.
It's higher than Obama's actually was.
With things working so, I mean, the economy is going well, we're at peace, the judges. Do people ever come up to you now that they know, now that you've come out? Do people ever come up to you and say, you know what, you know, I kind of, maybe you're right. Do you get any of that at all?
All the time.
You do? Okay.
All the time, especially now that it's been, you know, a little bit like after, and they're like, oh, well, when you first came out with that dress, I didn't know. And then now I start listening to you more. Now I see things. I had a friend, she is from Germany. Okay. And she said her parents come from a socialist country, right? Germany, like back in the day, Eastern Germany. She remembers when the wall was up. She remembers the tyrannical, you know, things that happened then. And she said, my parents were never, ever going to be socialists. They didn't like Obama. And she told me, she revealed to me, I don't like liberals anymore. And this is someone who had posted, you know, I'm a proud immigrant and sort of was into the immigration thing, which is Trump was never against immigration legally. Right. But it's just illegal immigration, which we should all be against because that breaks the law. It hurts Americans. So she was sort of liberal before, and she just revealed to me, you know, I actually like Trump. I'm actually looking at what he's doing, which is like, okay, really, good.
That's interesting. All right. Yeah. And I want to get back to the music in just a minute, but you do sound like you have some kind of political aspirations ultimately, and obviously, I mean, you're not. I've known people in the music business. You're obviously operating at an intellectual level above a lot of people in the music business. So you want to go forward into another career. Yeah. What are the issues that you see that you would like to deal with as a congresswoman, senator, whatever?
You know, it's funny because even though I'm not running right now, and that may be something I do, but later, I'm still very political, just by nature. And one of the things is infrastructure in America. You know, we need better infrastructure. We need our roads to be fixed. We need, you know, things to work right. Otherwise, it's not going to work for the future. Right. Our infrastructure just crashed under Obama. Another thing is taxes. We have to keep taxes low. We have to abolish the IRS, I think. I mean, it's very radical to say, but I would love to see that happen in my lifetime, or just lower it, limit that power. And that just goes into the whole less government control, less power. Another thing is rewarding families who work hard. Too many times we see, oh, well, welfare is free for all. You can come here illegally, you can get welfare. You know, the immigration laws are crazy. If you're illegally over here, you're getting tons of freebies. And that should not be what's happening. If you're going to give freebies or breaks or, you know, help with groceries, give it to a hardworking family that is barely slipping by, but at least they're working. Right. Not to people come here and say, just give me a handout. So that kind of ties into the whole immigration thing. We need to abolish sanctuary cities. You know, we need to just border control, get our borders under control, and build that wall. Okay.
Now, you're on a speaking tour. Are you going to do a singing tour?
I will, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Right now, the fans are asking for it. So I'm very fortunate and blessed to have so many people who, you know, listen to my music and watch my live feeds. I do a lot of live feeds. Right. And they're like, when are you going to come to Dallas? So I said, okay, let's set up a speaking tour, 4 cities. Dallas, right after the Grammys next year. Okay. So I'll be doing Dallas. I'll do Nashville, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville.
Great towns. All great towns. Nashville, my favorite, but those are great towns. Okay. And are you recording an album, anything?
I am. I'm working on an album.
All right, good. Yeah,
So,
I just want to make sure.
Yes, lots of music happening. So I'm working on an album. It'll be a full-length album. And I'm actually dropping some singles before I go on tour.
Okay.
So I've got a couple songs that I will release with music videos, which also carry messages that are very important to me.
Cool.
I feel like as a musician, it's sort of my job to carry a message. I've always been like that. My music before I was political had a message in it.
Okay.
And my message is always people can achieve their dreams. They are not just animals, bodies that just die and disappear. We're spiritual beings.
Oh,
so
now you're a real Republican. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That's great, Joy. It's really lovely to meet you. And where can people find you if they want to see your work?
They can go to joyvilla.com.
Okay.
They can find me on Twitter @joy_villa, at Instagram @joyvilla, and Facebook @joyvillamusic.
Okay, it's great talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
It's been a blast.
She's a very charming lady. You know, I think I'm a sucker for a pretty face, but I think she is actually a charming lady.